He didn't just show up in Canada. He showed up at the exact moment his brother was standing on a world stage in Brazil. And people inside the royal circle are saying that timing was no coincidence at all. Because insiders are now whispering something brutal, that Harry isn't just distant anymore. He's become a spoiled brat, intentionally trying to upstage the future king. And very, very jealous of William. This is why that Toronto appearance hit so hard for the palace. Because the trip wasn't teased weeks ahead, it wasn't mapped out with respect to the family calendar. It was dropped at the very last second, almost like a flashbang announcement. And what made it sting even more? William wasn't just anywhere. He was in Brazil representing the monarchy on a global stage, giving awards tied to the future of the planet. The spotlight was already locked onto him, until Harry suddenly inserted himself into the news cycle. And that's where the speculation exploded. People close to the royals claim this wasn't an accident. It was timed, deliberately. The goal? To compete for headlines, to disrupt the moment. And some palace insiders are calling it the last straw. The moment William realized Harry isn't just doing his own thing, he's actively stepping into William's lane. Because insiders say this version of Harry isn't the one the family grew up with. Before 2018, he was cheeky, rebellious, sure, but not bitter. Not vindictive. Not someone who tried to step on another royal's moment. In the old system, William's big public events were respected. The palace had an unspoken code. You don't overlap major appearances. You don't compete for spotlight inside your own bloodline. And Harry understood that. He played by those rules, but sources claim that shifted after Meghan. They insist he was never this tense, never this sharp, never this obsessed with narrative control before he married her. The phrase being used behind closed doors is chilling. Harry was never this bitter. As if the quiet, loyal spare they once knew has been replaced by someone who now views the monarchy as a rival brand, instead of his family. And that's where the word unrecognizable keeps coming in. Because once Harry walked out in 2020, once he and Meghan packed their things, moved to California, and realized they weren't going to get that half-in, half-out setup they believed they deserved, something hardened. And every move since then has felt like a response, a reaction, a retaliation. The interviews, the docu-series, the explosive sound bites, the endless media angles. Then Spare, a memoir that practically detonated whatever was left of quiet diplomacy. And instead of looking liberated or happy with this new Pacific Coast life, people close to the situation say he looks miserable, tired, like a man who won the freedom he wanted, but somehow lost the identity he was built for. Because now even his own family says they barely recognize him. Not the posture, not the tone, not the lens he sees everything through. He's gone from the fun Spare to someone who treats every headline like a battlefield. And that's why Rio became the pressure point. Because William wasn't doing a small charity handshake. He was on the ground in Brazil for Earthshot, a global initiative. Cameras everywhere. Heads of state watching. This was his big environmental moment. The kind of statesman energy the palace wants people to associate with the next king. And historically, royals respect those moments. They avoid what insiders call diary clashes. Meaning, if one family member is on a major stage, the others step back. They let that spotlight breathe. But Harry didn't step back. He stepped in. And that contrast was brutal. William, framed as the future monarch, speaking about the planet's future. Harry, the exiled prince, suddenly dropping in from the sidelines, allegedly trying to hijack the media cycle and steal thunder from the brother he once protected. And that's where this stops being gossip and turns into something darker. Because royal biographer Andrew Loney didn't mince words. He flat out said that Harry's behavior has crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. And the consequences won't just be awkward holiday reunions. They could rewrite royal history. Loney believes that when William eventually becomes king, Harry won't even get an invitation to his coronation. Not a seat, not a symbolic olive branch, not even a balcony wave from the far corner. And it gets even harsher. Because Loney says there's a very real chance Harry won't be welcome at his own father's funeral either, once William is the one presiding as monarch. In his words, The relationship isn't damaged, it's over. So this doesn't feel like another royal tabloid argument anymore. This feels like the point of no return. Two brothers, once inseparable, now drifting so far apart it doesn't even look like the same family tree. And the worst part? This isn't about a single trip to Toronto or one night in Rio. This is about a rivalry that now looks intentional, personal, and permanent, which leaves one brutal question hanging in the air. Is there even a road back from this? Or will the world watch William rise while Harry stands on the outside? Forever convinced his own spotlight was stolen? Tell me your view in the comments. And don't forget, hit subscribe because this story is far from over.